This is a trade recap for June the 21st, 2012 on the ES Runner and Eurorunner trading systems. On the ES Runner, there was news this morning that affected both systems, news that prevented a number of entries. So we had quiet morning between 1 a.m. and 4:30. There was, again, several news releases that prevented entries all over the place. Our minimum requirement to get into a trade before news release is 30 minutes because we have to exit an entry before news release 5 minutes prior to it in the pre-market. So these entries you see here, none of them were valid entries because everything was just before news releases. There was a 2 a.m. news release, I believe a 2:30 news release, a 3 o'clock news release, a 4 a.m. news release, and a 5:30 news release. Excuse me, a 4:30 news release. So there were no trades here in the morning. First trade going long that was valid was here. It was on a chase price. The trigger price wasn't guaranteed as a fill. The price was not penetrated, so the system generated a chase price. The entry is at 49.25. The initial take profit on the first contract in pre-market is 6 ticks. The second contract is brought to break even to allow it to be called what's the runner. The runner is allowed to run until it is closed by one of the two rules to exit a runner. Instead, it got taken out of break even right here. Next, we go now to 9:30 in the morning. We go to the 2-minute system. And today was an incredible day of profit on the non-rookie trading rules. The non-rookie trading rules are those that are more aggressive. The non-rookie trading rules had a 30-point runner with 1 3/4 against it. But unfortunately, the rookie trader rules, which are more conservative, in this case today, had still a profitable day, but not anywhere close to those that traded more aggressively today. Here at 9:46 was the first qualified trade to take after 9:45. We take from 9:15 to 9:45. We don't take trades from the 15 minutes prior to the market open or 15 minutes after due to the volatility that happens with the market open. This was a qualified short. Unfortunately, we had a news event at 10 a.m., which means if you, on a high impact news release, if you haven't made profit, and you don't have a runner position as a break even, you have to exit your position at whether you're profit or loss because you don't have anything at a break even. If you're going to trade on a news event and not close your position, you have to have enough room between the open price of the news event candle and where the current price is, where your break even is, that you have enough room to work with. For example, if this news event had happened down here and you'd made the 2 points profit on your initial position, and your second position, which is the runner, was up, let's say, 5 points, and you brought that position to break even, or maybe you brought it to a positive 1 or 2, if you had enough room between the open price of the news candle and the price where your stop loss was to allow for a market to spike up, for example, and not necessarily spike through you and not fill your limit, then that is acceptable. And I'll give you an example of that on the euro today, where the euro had quite a lot of room between the open price at 10 a.m. and where the break even was on the runner. In this case here, there was not any room of being open. There was nothing that gave enough latitude for if the market went up to be able to have a cushion in between there. So traders that got in this got out of it at the open price here. Maybe some traders made a tick, others were break even. I'm not counting it towards a profit today because it really is probably a break even trade. Going forward, we had our first scalp that was qualified to take. Unfortunately, we went against the daily lows right here. We hit the intra-daily lows, and unfortunately, we got smacked in the face. I failed to notice this. I was too busy in the room today taking comments and answering questions to notice that we were up against the daily low. This trade hit it. It failed. The next scalp came in from right after entry. It went up and failed very fast. It was after the scalp, these two scalps right here, when I knew we would break the daily lows and form what's called a vacuum, that is room to run without anything else in your way, because all the long contracts here would be absorbed, which happened after 3 touches. Here is where we got in our next trade. It made 8 ticks on the first candle, and then the next scalp here was not a valid intra-series scalp to take based on the 2 current rules, but the alternative rule, which will be introduced here in the next week, is to take an intra-series scalp that is a scalp number after the first number in a series. They're all called intra-series scalps when they're second, third, fourth, fifth scalps in a white line period. One of the rules is to take an intra-series scalp, an alternative rule that is right now, when you have 2 consecutive back-to-back arrows behind you. This rule has worked extremely well over the last couple of weeks as we've been looking at introducing new rules for making more money. So going forward, this rule will likely be implemented in the room here in the coming days because, again, this has had a very high success rate, probably well over 75% of the time. This has been working, and today it worked again. But I don't count that trade for profits, this particular scalp right here. The first scalp I certainly do. That should have been printed in blue, by the way, because prices were under or beyond the yellow. But it was, from a coding perspective, it was off by a tick in the coding, which simply needs to be adjusted from the developer and I. But this was a valid scalp to take, and the room took it and made 8 ticks. The rule again for a scalp is you've got to be beyond the yellow line to take a scalp. This scalp here was also another valid scalp, the first one in the series. That made the 8 ticks as well. From open price here, it had about 3 ticks to spare before the prices went up. So traders lost 2 scalps here. They won back the 2 scalps here. And then the earlier scalp in the morning, earlier trade in the morning made 6 ticks. So the net for the day today on the ES is a net of 6 ticks of profit today on the ES. 101 ticks, guys, was a profit from about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So today is 6 ticks, which is 1.5 points. And that is a net for today on the ES runner. Now for the Euro, quick recap. The Euro was an amazing day. Where the ES today only had a light day of profit based on the, remember, this is on the cautionary, this is on the rookie trade, that is, which is more cautious and more conservative. The non-rookie trade today made 30 pips, 30 points of running profit plus all the scalps along the way. The non-rookie trader today made about 50 to 60 points today because the trade didn't end until all the way down here. And then we had one more sprint at the end of the day, which actually was entered here and exited the first cautionary triangle. Went 7 ticks against it. It went 7 ticks for profit and was exited at 0. So again, the daily profit is 6 ticks. But the non-rookie trader today made a fortune. Probably made 50, 60 points today. The Euro had again an excellent day. The first trade this morning, there were no trades in the morning because of, again, the news releases. None of these were valid trades to take. These were all news related, all entries that were either related to a news event or just before a news event. The first valid long here is at 6:30. It makes 20 ticks, 20 pips that is, from the entry price. It went up about 21 pips. The runner is brought to break even based on the rookie trader rules for the Euro runner. And we have 20 pips to start off with. The next trade here to go short made 20 pips on its first contract here. Had a scalp, making 15 pips here. Had another scalp. This was an outstanding morning. This last scalp, this second scalp here, only made 1 pip of profit because the news event was at 10 a.m. and the scalp should have been closed. The runner is at break-even status, and the break-even status is the price point is all the way up here for break-even. That was about 45 pips away from the open price of the news event. For currency trading on the Euro runner, you should be 30 pips above the open price on the news event. That's enough room to not have to worry about having your stop not executed. This was almost 50 pips away in distance. So do you always close a trade on a news event? Most times you do if you're too tight to where, if your price is where you are, where your contract's open price, if it's too close to the news candle's open price, then yes, you definitely close. But if you're far enough away that you have enough room to work with, don't close a good trade because a news event's going to come out right here when it's 50 pips away from you. So the next valid scalp here came in, it made 15 pips. The next valid scalp here came in, it made 15 pips. And then these scalps going forward were all inside of the yellow line. The prices were when the scalps came out, so they weren't valid to take. And the runner was closed here at 3:55 in the afternoon. At the same time you would close your ES runners for 124 pips of profit. The total pips, if you go back and add this, 124 plus the 15 plus the 15 plus the 1 plus the 15 plus the 20 is exactly 200 pips made for the day. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing everybody in the room tomorrow. These systems, again, had a very good day, where one kind of had profit, performed a little bit less than usual. The ES runners averaged about 8 points a day. When there is a less than high output for the ES runner, the Euro made the difference with 200 pips. Thanks very much.